Welcome everybody to WWE Smackdown live review for September 25th of 2018. I watched this entire show from beginning to end. And I have to say, there's two storylines that are going on here that I absolutely love. I can't believe that's coming out of my mouth when saying I watched the main roster on Smackdown or Raw. But I gotta say this. The storyline they got with Dean Ambrose on Raw is pretty impressive. I didn't review Raw. I watched some of Raw. Most of it, the end of it, the last hour, I missed. I didn't care to watch it. Didn't give a flying fuck. Went into my room. I just watched some old school WWE Monday Night Raw from 2002, which was a hell of a lot better than the Raw of today for 3 hours. And put it to you that way. But SmackDown, on the other hand, was decent. Matches, on the other hand, match quality was crap as hell. There was nothing that screamed any excitement when it came to the matches itself, except maybe Sheamus and Big E. But storyline progression was very good. I really enjoyed everything that they had to say in storyline telling. Match-wise, as I already mentioned, it was not that great. I did not care for the wrestling. But honestly, when you got a 2-hour show, you don't always have to put on a great wrestling match. If you give us enough quality towards the storylines for a 2-hour show, for a 3-hour show, that's totally different. You need to give us some wrestling and good storyline quality, and that's pretty hard to fucking do. So, when you don't want to go ahead and overwork your talent so much, which they do very much, especially when they're not on television, they're still producing matches in live events. So, honestly, the proper way of doing this is really giving us 2-hour shows with good storyline telling, with here and there some good matches. You don't have to make it great matches on these 2-hour episodes. It's not very necessary. Give us at least one match to cry home about, to be excited about watching, see value in watching it. But if you give us some good storyline telling progression that leads to a pay-per-view or big match event, and it's a good match quality matchup that happens at that pay-per-view, you've given us our money's worth at least. But overall, for tonight, wrestling crap, but storyline telling very good. We kick off the show with with R-Truth, Carmella, and Daniel Bryan being in the middle of the ring. Basically, R-Truth took over the Miz TV show and called it Truth TV. So this segment was alright. I mean, it was funny though with R-Truth and the Miz's interaction with each other. Miz kind of looked at him like he was absolutely insane. But hey, what are you going to do? Miz did mention something that's very, very true about Daniel Bryan. And Miz was not ashamed to admitting this about himself. He says that the main quality that makes Daniel Bryan beloved by the fans is his never-ending attitude. Never quitting, never giving up, always following by the rules of a match. Never looking for shortcuts and always doing it the right way. Miz admits to the fact that he'll win at any cost. If he has to make shortcuts to win, he will. If he believes he doesn't have a way of beating you, he'll make an advantage over beating you. He don't care how he does it as long as he does one thing and one thing only. Win. His reputation is about wins, not about moral code or trying to impress anybody with his respectfulness to the rules. His care and care only is to win, and his main objective at this point going into the Super Showdown is to win the number one contendership for the WWE Championship. My personal opinion on this, I feel they need to make this match no holds barred. I mean, they've already done that with the AJ Styles Samoa Joe match, but what are you going to do? Daniel Bryan, on the other hand, seems very stale in my opinion. I honestly am not... I love Daniel Bryan. I always will. I always liked him as a in-ring performer. But his character gimmick is just... Ugh. It's like, eh. I'm not really caring so much about Daniel Bryan like I used to. His comeback has been average at best. Mediocre. Big Cass has been his only major opponent that even was remotely worth watching. Sadly enough to say. His overall matches with fucking Miz has been shit outside of a mixed tag team match. Oh, Jesus. That's what you got going for you, is a mixed tag team match to make your show, your storyline with the Miz any better. You guys are fucking shit. Miz ain't doing his job, and Daniel Bryan sure as hell ain't the same Daniel Bryan that I used to know. That's all I have to say on that subject. But, do I still love Daniel Bryan? Absolutely. Do I feel that he is at the level that he needs to be at? No. What he needs to do is he needs to beat The Miz decisively. He needs to win the fucking matchup and go on to face the WWE Champion. The WWE Champion needs to be Samoa Joe. I want to see Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan go at it one-on-one for the WWE Championship. Not a crown jewel. I don't want that. I want to see Samoa Joe versus Daniel Bryan at Survivor Series. And I think they should put this as the main event. If they would do that every once in a while with the WWE title, it would give reason for why they are fighting over this belt. This belt seems like a fucking secondary heavyweight championship when it should be as the same quality or equal to the fucking Universal Championship. And the Universal title is absolute trash. That WWE Championship seems to have more value than the Universal title to begin with. So that's all I have to say on that. We lead to our first match, though, with The Miz and R-Truth, with a opportunity where The Miz could lose his talk show. Big fucking whoop. Miz wins, beats R-Truth, hits him with the skull-crushing finale, and then the running knee, mimicking Daniel Bryan. Match itself was okay. Wasn't bad. Decent matchup overall. Becky Lynch and Charlotte, after the match, they go to a Becky Lynch-Charlotte segment where Charlotte's doing a photo shoot of her new shirt that she was wearing for merchandise and so forth. And Becky Lynch comes out of nowhere and throws her ass into the wall. And pretty much knocks her unconscious and beats her to a living pulp. After that, she tells the camera guy to go ahead and take a picture of her with her foot on top of Charlotte Flair's chest with the belt raised high above her head. Pretty interesting. Becky Lynch, I don't know what anybody's on or what they're thinking, but this is definitely Becky Lynch playing a heel at this point. If you don't think she's a heel, you're a fucking idiot. I don't care if the fans are cheering her or not. What they are doing with her is she's playing a heel. The fans don't give a fuck that she's playing a heel and they still like her regardless. So at the end of the day, let's all be honest with ourselves and come to reality. Becky Lynch is supposedly being portrayed as a heel. That's it. And apparently the WWE management want her to be a heel while making us look like we enjoy watching evil things happen to good people. When in reality, Charlotte Flair really had no business being placed in a championship match in the first place. It should have been one-on-one. Charlotte never had a right for that championship. She has lost twice to the former champion at the time and was unsuccessful, which was Carmella. Unfortunately, because Carmella is absolute trash when it comes to wrestling. Look-wise, she's pretty damn hot. But at the end of the day, guys, they're trying to get us to boo her, but that ain't going to work. It's like us trying to be convinced that Roman Reigns is a good guy and we should love Roman Reigns. We ain't going to like Roman Reigns, ever. They just need to stick with Roman Reigns being a heel and Becky Lynch being a face. That's it. Simple as that. And I think they're trying to go for here I don't know. Whatever. Scratch whatever I thought I was trying to think of. Because it was unimportant, apparently. Because I couldn't even fucking remember what it was. Anyway, moving on to Sheamus and Big E. This match was actually decent. I hope Sheamus and Cesaro win the Smackdown Tag Team titles. But the way things are going with them being on a winning streak, I have a bad feeling at the Super Showdown event, they're going to lose this match regardless. So, that's just my overall opinion on that because of the pattern that it's going on. So, that's my only reason why I say they're going to lose, even though I really want them to win. But the match itself was pretty good. Good action between both parties, and I kind of liked it. We then get Aiden English and Rusev's segment, which was... I was down on the idea. I really was. The reason why I was down on the whole idea is that there was no championship being battled between these two. And I think a U.S. championship belt between Rusev and Aiden English would be a great idea for a rivalry on top of what they did tonight. Because what they did tonight was really awesome. And they could have swung this either way, too, because of the fact that they could have made Lana become a heel and make her look like a piece of shit to Rusev in the long run later on. Like, for instance, as I said last week, I stated that that if Rusev would have won the U.S. Championship, I keep saying Universal title, U.S. Championship from Shinsuke Nakamura, let's say that happened, okay? Lana could have went ahead and not said anything at all to Rusev. Said, you know what? Said to Aiden English, you know what? Later on in a segment where those two were by themselves, they could have had them go ahead and have Lana say, you know what? After tonight, Rusev won. I'm not going to go ahead and tell him nothing if you're not going to tell him anything. I'm going to basically tell you, look, I honestly think that you said that out of pure frustration. You were angry. Is that right? And of course, Aiden English would have said, of course I was. I was just frustrated by what he said. I feel like I've contributed to Rusev and me having success. And I'm happy and proud of the fact that he won. And I want to be his friend and, be by his side. And then eventually lead to her becoming somewhat of a heel or later on exposing Aiden English for being a liar. Or Aiden English for being a jerk-off because she wasn't getting her way. And leading these two to battle each other for the U.S. Championship, which later on and giving us the impression that Aiden English is actually really a heel when he's really not. And we are kind of played along this roller coaster ride, and eventually Aiden English walks away with the United States Championship. At that point, he would finally show proof what Lana has been doing. What she is. She's a phony load of bullshit. And actually have Lana become a heel and expose her for being a low-life piece of trash. Which they're going with right now, but it's looking as if Aiden English is being a liar about it, stating that in Milwaukee, Lana was the reason she was lying about something that happened in Milwaukee that she never told Rusev about. Now, I don't know what the fuck that is. They're leaving that as a cliffhanger, and they're going to expose that next week, which I'm actually kind of excited to see what that might be. Hopefully it's not anything that's been done before, like her cheating on her husband or some kind of stupid shit like that. Maybe something of some sort that kind of, I think it might have something to do with what she said to Rusev in Milwaukee. I think that she might have said that quote to Rusev in Milwaukee about how he needs to make a change within his manager. Like, he needs to get rid of Aiden English. Like, he's a weak link in his life. And exposing her for being what she was, a wretched in their relationship as a work colleague group and friends. And that she's basically jealous of the fact of what kind of friendship they had. So he went about the wrong way of preventing him from hearing from Lana what he truly said, even though he probably said it out of frustration. But they're going to take it as him seriously being what he meant. What he said was what he meant. So, honestly, this is going to be very interesting. I hope it doesn't lead to some kind of thing in Milwaukee where she cheats on her husband type of thing. I think that's trash. I've done that before. I've done it a million times in other storylines where a woman's involved with a male and blah, blah, blah. They need to go in a different route. And I think that what she said to Rusev back about how maybe he needs to get rid of Aiden English, that might spark something of like a thing in Rusev and say, hey, you know what? Maybe you were the wrench in the relationship, and you're the reason why me and Aiden English were going off on the wrong foot with each other, because ever since you got in the picture, things have gone south between him and I. And, I mean, it sounds a little fucked up for him to pick Aiden English over his wife, which is kind of fucking dumb, but in reality, though, by the look of things, it certainly does look like a lot of the things that happened, and you could see when Lana got back in the picture of Rusev, things seem to be going downhill with those two. So, you gotta pay very close attention to detail on this. If you've paid attention at all to the Rusev, Aiden English, and Lana storyline, it's actually very intriguing because they could go in two different ways with this. They could make Lana be a heel. Aiden English is really a good guy, but then in the same aspect, why would he attack Rusev and destroy his entire friendship? Makes no sense to me, but whatever. But good storyline. Good storyline development and a way to leave a cliffhanger to get people interested in seeing what that other thing is in Milwaukee. I'm very interested in what that could be. What else happened? Oh yeah, Asuka and Naomi against the fucking whatchamacallit. Can't fucking think here. Asuka against Naomi and Mandy Morgan and Sullivan DeVille. Or whatever, Sandy DeVille, or whatever the fuck their names are. I never even watched this match. I went and watched the Yankee-Rays game, so I didn't give a flying fuck about that shit. So whatever on that bullshit. And then we had a moment where we had Ty Dillinger and Shinsuke Nakamura. This match was looking promising. But at the end of the day, it ended with Randy Orton getting involved, doing something very similar to what he did to Jeff Hardy. He beat and brutalized fucking Ty Dillinger to death, and did something very similar to what he did to Jeff Hardy. And I was kind of waiting for him to stick his finger inside of his ear and pull out his fucking eardrum while it's pulsating at the end of his finger. Just getting a little grotesque here. Don't mind if I do. Anyway, but yeah, after the match was over, an interviewer came backstage and asked him, so Randy Orton, was Ty Dillinger really supposed to be your next victim on the list of people that you want to attack? And he goes, no, actually not really at all. He's just, that Perfect 10 thing just really pisses me off. I'm like, what the fuck? So, wait a second, you're telling me that you went out to destroy Ty Dillinger because Ty Dillinger has a Perfect 10 gimmick that annoys the living shit out of you. You just had to go out in the arena and beat the hell out of him to just vent your frustrations upon him with physical violence. Wow, that makes perfect sense to me. I don't know how that's getting me more intrigued to see Randy Orton continue on this Viper rampage, but that was kind of weak. I mean, unless they're planning on continuing this attack on Ty Dillinger until Ty Dillinger gets fed up enough of it that he tells Randy Orton, you're fucking screwed and I'm going to kick your ass, type of things, and I want you in the ring in a match or something like that at a pay-per-view. If that leads to a storyline between these two guys, I'm happy with that. Ty Dillinger needs something to work with. Randy Orton would be great for him to work with. Randy Orton has done work with younger superstars like Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase. And he helped develop Cody Rhodes in some way. Ted DiBiase was a lost cause from the get-go. I mean, he didn't seem like he was going to go anywhere in his career. Cody Rhodes looked very promising in WWE. He just never got a good shot at being a major superstar in WWE at all. Thankfully, he managed to find some other outlet where he can be something worth noticing and worth watching. But, with that being said, Ty Dillinger working with Randy Orton in a storyline matchup to a pay-per-view, I think would be very good for him, and not to mention, it gives him something to fucking do. I mean, he's getting paid to work for Vince McMahon. Why not give him something to do and make him useful for his money, you know? So, good idea if they go along with this storyline with him and Ty Dillinger, Randy Orton. I really like that idea. It gives Ty Dillinger a great opportunity to show off his skills against a guy who's been well known in WWE and has been at the top of his game for a very long time. After that, we had a hell of a fucking Samoa Joe, AJ Styles contract signing. You'd think they go with the typical contract signing only to go ahead and give you a twist. What a fucking twist this was. Now, I mean, I've seen this happen before in previous years, back in the ruthless aggression era and the attitude era, going in people's homes and shit like that. Now, we didn't get the full-on going to AJ Styles' home type shit. It was more of a tease, giving us like this, oh my god, is he gonna go in there? When the fuck's he going in? He went on and on and on, mainly to fill in time. I think they should have went with a match that went a little bit longer than Becky Lynch. Oh yeah, I forgot. Becky Lynch and fucking Lana had a match. That match was just like 2 minutes long. They really could have went with a Shinsuke Nakamura, Ty Dillinger matchup that could have went for 10-15 minutes and give them like 10 minutes with this whole contract signing, so it's not so drawn out with Samoa Joe. I think Samoa Joe's thing should have been maybe like 5 minutes tops. This seemed like 10 minutes too long. But despite the length of teasing that he was going inside the home and all that jazz, it was still very good. I mean, he's going ahead. He's acting like some sick, twisted motherfucker, like he's going to go in their house and molest his wife and destroy his family or some shit. I mean, it was full on to the point of breaking and entering type shit. He goes ahead and before you know it, he rings the doorbell and the show goes off the air. The show goes off the air. Now, I gotta ask you guys a serious question on this. Have you guys ever seen that in quite a while? I haven't. Seriously, that was a great fucking cliffhanger. Way to end the show right there. I think that was fantastic. A little overdrawn out, though, with the Samoa Joe teasing to go inside the home of AJ Styles. But regardless of all that, that was still really good. I really enjoyed it, and it was something different. I mean, in the sense of a contract signing. I mean, never in a contract signing have I ever seen the man that was supposed to challenge the champion go ahead and be at someone else's house instead of being in the same place where they were to sign the contract. So the contract was never signed. So that leads us to what's going to happen. Does this match actually happen? Do we get a championship matchup? More than likely, of course, we will. So chances are we're going to have a contract signing next week between AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. Or maybe AJ signs the dotted lines, takes the match, and then Samoa Joe signs the contract next week for his part of signing the contract altogether. Honestly, I was actually impressed with the ending of the show. If you weren't, there's something fucking wrong with you. Because this leaves us to wonder what the hell happened when they went off the air. What did Wendy have to say when he rang the doorbell and she opened the door and saw it was Samoa Joe instead of her husband? What did her child do? Did her child cry in fear, or did she kind of go, Uncle Joe, or some shit? Who the fuck knows? But it leaves us to wonder what actually happens next and gives us a reason to want to watch next week. And that's the important thing that WWE needs to start doing. Leaving us with something to want to grasp onto to see what happens next week. And that's what they did here. Great job by WWE, both Aiden English and Rusev's storyline, and Samoa Joe and AJ Styles. Very good work by both of these storylines they developed here tonight. I thought that was a great job by the creators of this. The rest of the show was pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's all been done before. Sheamus and fucking Big E having a match. We had Cesaro face Kofi Kingston in a matchup last week. So it goes on and on with that bullshit. They're just trying to find different combinations to give reason to have these guys have interactions with each other in one way or another. So that's all they're doing there. Miz and Daniel Bryan's an ongoing saga of the same old shit. Daniel Bryan's a fucking goody two-shoe who's following the rules. Miz is a guy that'll find shortcuts and ways to just win a fucking match. Good job by Miz. He's been kind of really, in my opinion, keeping the storyline going and based on how he acts. And he acts very serious, and he takes real care in what he is telling the audience. And he doesn't hide anything. He doesn't pull no punches, nothing. He says what it is. I don't care to follow the rules. My attitude is, I want to win a fucking match and be the world champion. I don't give a fuck about what the fans think. If they like me, they like me. They don't, tough shit. I don't care. And that's it. And I like that. I think that's really good on his part, even though I still can't stomach him worth of shit. But anyway, guys, leave your comments and opinions down below. Let me know what you guys thought of the show and what you thought of my review on this and what my opinion was. Do you guys agree with it or not? If not, please tell me. On top of that, guys, hit the like button if you liked the video and hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And thank you guys very much for watching. Bye.